I go by Crow of Judas on YouTube. I've been debunking for about 5 years now. I basically watch, react, and debunk fake ghost hunters on YouTube. Okay, so as far as the question goes, just so you have that in the archives. Um, so basically, for me, man, after I found the shape, of course, and I got into debunking as a whole on YouTube, because I fell for a lot of the fake stuff that was going on YouTube, right? And so basically, I was watching some videos one day. And this one video came up that was so outright fake. I just said, that's it. I'm done. I'm done. I have to do something. I can't just sit back and watch The Shape or other debunkers, do this without me anymore. I have to get involved somehow. And that's when I just started Googling, like, editing software. I had no idea what I was doing. So I wanted to get involved somehow. This video was so bad. There was like scissors that were stabbed into the wall and with a note that said, get out or something like that. And they're trying to say that the ghost did that. And I was like, that's it. I can't, I'm done. And I got some editing software and made some really crude type videos, like doing voiceovers, making fun of them and calling it fake, things like that. Yeah, because when I was watching Paranormal on YouTube, right, I followed a few people and some of them I got really close to. And I felt like they were like my friend. I was part of their family. When I realized they were faking the whole time, it really hurt because they seemed so nice and they seemed so like they were your best friend. And then when I realized they were faking this, like, hey, you lied to me, man. I actually felt stupid. I actually felt stupid that somebody was able to fool me like that. And that was part of the raw emotion that made me go, you know what, this actually hurt me. And that went a long way with me because I felt fooled. And I wanted to do something to get it out there that, hey, these guys are not your friends. They're charismatic, they're fun, but they just want your money. You start looking at everybody suspiciously. Every channel you followed, every investigator you see, you start questioning everything. Even when it's your friends, they might have a really good catch or they see something and you're totally suspicious and you want to find out, like, hey, this guy's really cool. He's my friend, but is he lying? Is he faking? So became overly suspicious of everything I watched. There's a big misconception that the debunkers just want to do it for clout or for views and things like that. But for me, it's more than that. It's really just trying to get the truth out there, find the truth, because most debunkers are believers. The big misconception is that we want to disprove paranormal. That's not true. I want to disprove the actual investigator, the person that's actually claiming the evidence, because I believe in the paranormal. I just want to find the truth. So to do that, you have to sift through all this stuff that you see on YouTube and online to discern what is real and what's not. And that's really the goal, is to find actual truth, not just to call somebody out and call them fake, but also to make people aware of what's fake and what's not on YouTube. Because again, I'm looking for the truth, but also we need to educate people and kind of awaken them, kind of like the Matrix, right? You're trying to awaken them to what's going on, because when you're not woken up yet, you're watching these guys and you believe everything they're doing. And the debunkers are just haters at that point. But once you start realizing, catching on, your mind just completely opens. And once you realize that, oh, this is fake, that person will then start questioning everything. And then they start following debunkers, and it's awesome. So one of my first big catches as a debunker was a video that I watched before where these guys were in an attic and they had this snowman. It's like a piñata snowman kind of thing. And they acted like it teleported across the room. And when I first saw that, I was like, wow, how in the heck did they do this? It's pretty amazing. And they really fooled me. And then when I went back to once I realized I was watching like fake stuff on other channels, I came back to that and I rewatched it with my new debunking eyes, and I realized that they were able to do so because they took the one piñata and they hid it down on the side where you couldn't see it. And they had a second piñata that they put in the corner of their room. So they made it look like this snowman had just moved across the room. But I was able to figure it out because the snowmen were slightly different. One had eyes that were further apart than the other. One had eyes that were further apart than the other one. Those these little minute details that were different. And I went, aha. It was like 2:30 in the morning. This is my first like real legit debunk. And I was like, oh my God, I just figured this out, like 100% proof. And that was one of the times, that was my first big debunk. And it felt so good to go out there and show people, hey, these three guys, which were all are still big YouTubers, they're all fake, you know? And I got a lot of hate for that. Well, with this particular video, all three of the guys I was following a lot. You know, these are three of my favorite guys. And so it stung. It really stung because again, I was mad that they were doing this to begin with. And honestly, when I figured it out, I was pretty shocked. And that's when it felt like I felt fooled again. Again, I felt fooled. Like, wow, you actually played a trick on me. I don't like that feeling. And I want other people to realize what you're doing as well. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Don't go by feelings and who you like and who you don't like. You really have to put the feelings aside for the person that's actually, that you're watching. You know, just because they're nice doesn't mean that they're real. And that's the trap that they actually set, I think, because most of these guys are charismatic and they're so nice and they bring you in and they make you comfortable and you kind of drop your defenses because it's like, oh man, this guy's cool. He's like me, he likes heavy metal, whatever it is. And then you drop your guard. And then when you do see something paranormal, you actually believe it more because, well, yeah, he's the real deal. He wouldn't lie to me, you know? So then you realize, like, okay, you can't believe in, you can't trust anybody, no matter how cool they are, how, you know, attractive they are, whatever it is. You can't believe in anybody face cover. You know, just, you have to look at it for yourself and really analyze the video and go see past all the surface stuff, you know? That's one of the things that's been talked about a lot, actually. And it's definitely damaged the paranormal community for sure. It's YouTube, I would say, actually online in general, has been oversaturated with all this fake content. And what it's done is it's made everybody want to see this real scary stuff, this real cheap stuff. There's no market for real paranormal anymore because everybody wants to see the scary stuff. And even if they know it's fake, most of them will still watch it because it's, you know, exciting. It's sexy. It's fun. It's scary. But it's absolutely ruined real paranormal on YouTube for sure. And there's a few teams that were able to finally build up a following and make it on YouTube. But for the most part, real paranormal on YouTube is basically dead. Compared to the big channels, but compared to the big fake channels, all these top five channels, you know, top 5 ghost videos, it's all fake videos. There's no real content. And I've actually tried to send real content to these top 5 channels before. They don't want any part of it because it's not as scary as the fake stuff. So it's not only the fake YouTubers, it's these top 5 channels, even as far as the TV shows you see on the name brand cable shows. I won't say any names or anything like that, but these TV shows that basically showcase these so-called paranormal clips, they're all fake. And so, yeah, it's absolutely ruined it for not only the actual experience, but the actual investigators, because they can't compete with that. They're sitting in a house for 10 hours and they might get 1 EVP. They can't compete with a person that's throwing chairs across the room. And there's just no way to compete with that. So yeah, it's absolutely ruined the paranormal community. I mean, there's still a good following for real paranormal. It's starting to get bigger again, but you know, if you want to go on YouTube and try to, you know, make a name for yourself and you're going to be a real investigator, good luck. And it's going to be a lot of work. And you know, like I said, there's still people out there that want to watch it, but it's few and far between. Most of the people are watching the exciting stuff, the stuff with the good looking people walking around with the apps. Everything's a ghost. And that's what people are watching more, obviously, because you'll a real investigator will get like 200 views on a video, and a fake investigator will get 200,000 views. So it's a big difference. That's a good one. I'm not sure how to respond to that one, Jimmy. I never looked at it like that before, because it was never like, oh, you're faking that, and I had a real experience, so you know, fooey on you kind of thing. I never had that. I never thought about it in that way before. If I was someone that had a lot of experiences, then I might be more pissed off about it. But that part never really, I never thought about it that way. To be honest with you, of course, it makes you mad. Obviously, I mean, that's the easy one to go with. But really, what's the unfortunate part about all this is that all the fake investigators going around saying they have all these crazy experiences, that actually messes with people's psyche. It actually messes with their outlook on things. And it's for people that are not very mentally stable. They can watch these videos and be like, oh my God, you know what? There is an afterlife. So therefore I can do X, X, and X, I mean, it's pretty scary, which I have heard things about that before, like where somebody might hurt themselves thinking that, oh, you know what? There's an afterlife because I saw it on this show on YouTube. And that's so putting all this stuff out there, it gives all these people this false sense of reality that when because I'm telling you how many times I've talked to an investigator that has went out to a location, right? And when they first started investigating, and they were expecting all this stuff to happen. Why? Because all the people they follow, everywhere they go, they get activity. But what happens is they go and nothing happens. And they're like, what the hell's going on? And they're disappointed, they're confused, and they realize, oh my God, what I watched was fake. But yeah, so you're giving people a false sense of reality of what paranormal investigating is like by putting this stuff out there like that 24/7. Well, that's to me that's an easy one because it's basically fame and money. They want the fame, they want the money, they want the attention, and that's the main reasons. Because if you can get the views, you get the money, and that's unfortunate. But that's to me is the main reason why they fake their evidence, because they want to make money. And some of them, I would say, really also are striving to be famous. That's probably a majority of them as well. So it's a mixture of both. And the problem I see is that, they want the money, they want the fame, but then they want the respect. They want the respect, right? They want to be known as an investigator. They want to be invited to all these paracons and go around acting like they're an investigator, but they're not. They're a complete poser. And then they get mad because there's people like the debunking community that have already called them out before for what they are, which is fake. But they want to live in this little land with this little this land of theirs where, I'm a real investigator. Look at me, and you're not. You're basically doing this for money, and you're not fooling everybody. And that's what the debunking community is so important for, is because there's so many people out there that don't know the truth, but it's slowly awakening aacross the board. And there is some people out there that watch the fake stuff and they know it's fake, but they love watching it. That's fine. It's YouTube. It's what it's for. But I would say majority of the people that watch these videos completely believe it, because you can go to the comment sections and look at the comment sections. They're saying things like, oh, I'm praying for you. I hope you're safe. Be careful next time. Wear your rosary, blah, blah, blah. And it's a completely overly fake video. And what's funny is that some of this stuff is so fake. I actually wonder how in the hell are these people buying it? But it's because they're so uneducated as far as what they're looking at. So that's the job of the debunkers, is to explain how this stuff is being done. And once they see that, they can go, oh, okay. And now I know that this person I'm watching is faking, that kind of thing. Yes. That's a good question, because for me, it all comes down to intent, right? I mean, we can't for me, it all comes down to intent when it comes to investigating, because there are some people using certain tools that I might not agree with, that you might not agree with, but just because we don't agree with them doesn't mean it's fake, right? So when you're looking for an investigator that's real, first of all, it's going to be somebody that doesn't get much evidence, unfortunately. If you're watching somebody that's getting evidence week after week, most likely that's not real, because that's just not how paranormal works. Anybody that's an investigator knows that's not how it works. But I'm sorry, Jimmy, what was the original question again? I'm fucking up here. Okay, let me start that one over. A real investigator, it's hard because, again, you don't know who to trust when you find an investigator, right? But you're looking for, of course, honesty over everything. And also, to me, it comes down to the intent of the investigator. You might find an investigator that's really truthful, really honest, but they might use a lot of equipment that you might not believe it works. I'm okay with that. I'm actually okay with watching an investigator that uses things that I don't like. And that's okay, because as long as I know that their intention is true, I know they're looking for the truth, right? And as long as they're debunking along the way, that's a big thing for me, is someone that debunks. Investigating is debunking. If you're not debunking and you're just taking everything as a ghost, then that's not an investigator, because you're there to investigate everything. So if your REM pod goes off, your music box goes off, now why did it go off? Not just assume you're talking to a ghost. So you want to find somebody that is debunking constantly and is out for the truth. And I would say too, if you're out there watching some ghost hunters or some investigators and they're getting crazy evidence every week, they're probably not real, because that is just not how the paranormal works. It's very rare that you get any kind of evidence. And so when I'm looking for an investigation team, if they're getting all this evidence at one location, pretty much I know it's not the real deal. I hope that probably sucked ass still, but that makes it really personal right there, doesn't it? And that's where you get into that whole different realm of anger, that people are playing on people's emotions like this. And even to the point where somebody like a Luke or somebody similar to that has a similar story can be in the chat and, saying things in the comment section about their experience. And these people that are obviously fake are playing on that and replying to them and, talking to them about their situation. It's really about as low as you can get. That they're really kind of preying on people like this as well. I mean, in my opinion, they're wanting people to engage them about their stories, the personal stories like this, and then they kind of feed into it, and it really pisses me off. And that's the thing that they're not understanding. That's the thing that they're not understanding, is that people are there. A lot of people are watching these videos for their own answers. And when you're sitting there faking all this evidence, you're affecting them and you're making them, think about their loved ones. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that, I started watching this because I lost my dad, I lost my mom, and they're there to see if there's an afterlife. And they turn on some fake piece of crap that's faking their evidence in every video. And they think that, oh, you know what? That's, it might give them hope, but it's false hope. And it's wrong, and I've seen these people kind of go back and forth within the comment sections about this. Just like, man, you guys are really overreaching, do your videos, do your thing. But when they start kind of playing on the heartstrings of these people, it really pisses me off. Okay. Well, I'm not a violent person. What I do is behind a screen a lot of the times, and I just try to educate people. But as far as getting into, as far as getting into it with somebody, over something like this, it's probably best for me just to walk away versus engaging with somebody, because you're never going to get them to admit that they're faking. You're never going to get them to see it through your eyes. Um, it's going to be a one-way conversation, and it's almost just best to walk away before you get too angry, things like that. Like I said, I'm not a violent person, and even though I disagree with them vehemently, but yeah, with somebody like that, if I met them face to face, I'd probably just walk away. And to be honest with you, some of them you get to know over. Some of them you get to know quite a bit because you watch them so much. It's not just it's not like I'm one of these kind of guys that's going to go, hey, you fake videos, fuck you, I could still be cordial and just be like, hey, I think your videos are completely fucking fake. Um, you know, Depending on who the person is, I might just walk away. Um, or I might say something, just depends really. I've never had that, honestly, Jimmy. I've never had that situation happen before. So it might surprise me as well how it acts. So I've actually had dreams about that before where I've actually met them at the store and things like that. But I mean, that's a good question. I'm not sure what I would do. I think the best thing is just to walk away because, like I said, you're never going to get them to admit that they're fake, and it's just kind of like arguing with a wall.